Articles and research that lead this episode of Healthy and Happy Senior Living. 5 best at-home vitamin deficiency tests for 2023. Is it normal to forget words while speaking? Newly discovered trigger for Parkinson's may lead to better treatment avenues. All of these articles and ever so much more in this episode of Healthy and Happy Senior Living. Hello, I am your host, Stephen Carter. Welcome to this episode of Healthy and Happy Senior Living. Who is this show for? Obviously, if you're a senior, this is for you. If you are a caregiver, whether you're caring for a loved one or you're a professional caregiver, this show is also for you. My belief is that it is absolutely vital that we keep informed of the latest research related to senior health, so those of us who are in those golden years can experience healthy and happy senior living. One important notice here, I am not a doctor. I do not play one on TV. The information that I share is for informational purposes only. I want all of us to stay as informed as we possibly can be. I encourage you to never make any changes in medications, lifestyle, or anything related to your health before consulting your medical doctor. From Medical Express, dated September 26, 2023, is it normal to forget words while speaking? Is it normal to forget words while speaking? Lead paragraph, we have all experienced that moment mid-sentence when we just can't find the words we want to use, even though we're certain we know it. Why does this happen? And when can word-finding difficulties indicate something is serious? Everyone will experience an occasional word-finding difficulty, but if they happen often with a broad range of words, names, and numbers, this could be a sign of a neurological disorder. The article goes on to identify the various stages of speech and notes that problems can arise in each of these 4 areas. The article goes on, word-finding difficulties occur at all ages, but they do happen more often as we get older. In older adults, they can cause frustration and anxiety about the possibility of developing dementia, but they are not always a cause for concern. Laboratory studies also show that tip-of-the-tongue states are more likely to occur under socially stressful conditions when speakers are told they are being evaluated, regardless of their age. Many people report having experienced tip-of-the-tongue problems during job interviews. How do we know if we have a more serious issue? More frequent failures with a broader range of words, names, and numbers are likely to indicate a more serious issue. When this happens, language scientists use the terms anomia, or anomia, or anomic aphasia to describe the condition, which can be associated with brain damage due to stroke, tumors, head injury, or dementia such as Alzheimer's disease. Recently, the actor Bruce Willis's family revealed he has been diagnosed with a degenerative disorder known as primary progressive aphasia, for which one of the earliest symptoms is word-finding difficulties rather than memory loss. The article goes on with more details about brain imaging studies, how occasional failures can occur in healthy adults, and information related to additional studies. And it suggests that if you are concerned about your word-finding difficulties, or those of a loved one's, do consult your general practitioner for a referral to a clinical neuropsychologist or a speech pathologist. From the September 25 edition of Medical News Today, 5 best at-home vitamin deficiency tests for 2023, or for our friends across the pond, Vitamin, 5 best at-home vitamin deficiency tests for 2023. Lead paragraph: at-home vitamin deficiency tests are available from online retailers, including Let's Get Checked, Everwell, My Lab Box, and more. Popular tests can measure a person's vitamin D, B12, or iron levels. Similar to these DNA tests, it looks like these at-home vitamin tests will use saliva and then be tested by the respective laboratories. By the way, this article and all articles will be linked in the show notes, also known as the show description. So let's have a look at 5 of the best at-home vitamin deficiency tests according to this study. Best overall, Let's Get Checked, micronutrient tests. Best for essential vitamins test, Let's Get Checked, essential vitamin test. Best combination vitamin D as in David test. Everwell vitamin D and inflammation test. Best for bone health, My Lab Box at-home vitamin D test. And best lab visit test, LabCorp vitamin deficiency blood test. Vitamins and minerals are micronutrients that support many crucial body functions. At-home vitamin deficiency tests can check for deficiencies, but a person should only make health decisions based on their results and input from a doctor. Parkinson's disease, unfortunately a very debilitating condition. From Medical News Today, September 26, 2023, newly discovered trigger for Parkinson's may lead to better treatment avenues. Newly discovered trigger for Parkinson's may lead to better treatment avenues. Key findings: Parkinson's disease is the second most common neurodegenerative disorder worldwide, affecting more than 10 million people. Symptoms include tremor and problems with movement, balance, and coordination. Experts believe it is caused by death of dopamine-containing nerve cells in the region of the brain involved in motor control. Now, a recent study suggests that synapses, the connections between these nerve cells, may start to become dysfunctional before the nerve cells are affected. The authors suggest that new treatment strategies could target the synapses before neurons are affected. Some interesting facts here. About 10 to 15% of those with Parkinson's disease have a genetic predisposition for it. In others, the cause is unclear, but environmental factors such as chemicals, toxins, and head trauma may increase the risks. Do you have trouble falling asleep or staying asleep? From Medical Express, online, dated September 26, 2023, studies show that what you think about before sleep influences how you sleep. Some key findings here. It turns out people who sleep well and those who sleep poorly have different kinds of thoughts before bed. Good sleepers report experiencing mostly visual sensory images as they drift off to sleep, seeing people and objects, and having dreamlike experiences. They may have less ordered thoughts, and there may be more hallucinatory experiences, such as imagining you're participating events in the real world. For those with insomnia, pre-sleep thoughts may tend to be less visual and more focused on planning and problem solving. These thoughts generally are more unpleasant, and they're less random than those of good sleepers. People with insomnia are also more likely to stress about sleep as they're trying to fall off to sleep. This can lead to a vicious cycle. Putting effort into sleep actually wakes you up. Here's some good news, however. There are techniques you can use to change the style and content of your pre-sleep thoughts. This could help reduce nighttime cognitive arousal or replace unwanted thoughts with more pleasant thoughts. This technique is called cognitive refocusing. What in the world is cognitive refocusing? Cognitive refocusing involves distracting yourself with pleasant thoughts before bed. It's like the fake scenarios so many social media users post. But the trick here is to think of scenarios that are not all that interesting. Decide before you go to bed what you'll focus on. Pick an engaging cognitive task with enough scope and breadth to maintain your interest and attention without causing emotional or physical arousal. So nothing too scary, nothing too thrilling or stressful. Whatever you choose, do make sure it's suited to you and your interests. The task needs to feel pleasant without being overstimulating. Cognitive refocusing, well, it's not a silver bullet, but it can certainly be helpful. This article also looks at mindfulness meditation and other methods to help you get that good night's sleep you absolutely need and you deserve. From nicenews.com. Volunteering later in life could boost your brain, study finds. Volunteering later in life could boost your brain, study finds. Here are 7 ways to get involved. Their first recommendation, animal shelters. Try phoning your local shelter or rescue center to see if they could use a hand. Or there is a link in this article, as there's a link in each of these suggestions where you can click to identify volunteering opportunities related to these various suggestions. Number 2, feed those in need. Feed those in need. Meals on Wheels. Make sure everyone has access to nutritious and balanced meals. Third, help your local farmers. Help out your local farmers. Next, homeless shelters and soup kitchens. Homeless shelters and soup kitchens. Mentor youth. Mentor youth. Big brothers and big sisters. There is a link to the Big Brothers and Big Sisters organizations. The way many of the young people are today, they do need your mentoring and your wisdom. Organize a blood drive for the Red Cross. And finally, number 7, volunteer at the YMCA. There are, of course, many other volunteer opportunities. While these suggestions are focused on the United States, wherever you are in the world, there is opportunities to help others by volunteering. Consider where your heart is as far as organizations and as far as the need in your community, and do volunteer. We have an excellent resource from Healthline. This resource is called Healthy Aging, Wellness at Every Age. There are multiple guides that are linked from this master page. Examples, tips for making friends at any age. You're never too old to start therapy. In nutrition, the definitive guide to healthy eating in your 50s and 60s. Perhaps you're experiencing menopause. They have a guide, diet and fitness tips for menopause. Speaking of fitness, here's a guide, the best lifestyle fitness activities for your 50s, 60s, and beyond. Perhaps you're interested in strength training. Here's a guide, a healthy aging guide to strength training and stretching at home. The definitive guide to adopt your fitness routine for every phase of life. Earlier, we talked about supplements. Here's a guide, a definitive guide to supplements for healthy aging. And yet another one, 10 of the best supplements for healthy aging. There's lifestyle information. Forever Young, the path to a longer, healthier life. There is just a rich treasure trove of guides and information you can choose to apply in your own life. From Medical News Today, dated September 27, 2023, could vitamin D help lower cardiovascular disease risk? Could vitamin D help lower cardiovascular disease risk? Vitamin D is essential for good health, and the precise impact it has on different aspects of health and the mechanisms underpinning this are the focus of much research. Key point 2, previous studies have linked this nutrient to improved cardiovascular health. Point 3, researchers from the Swiss Nutrition and Health Foundation have found a link between vitamin C supplementation and a lower risk for cardiovascular events. And finally, no association was found between taking vitamin D supplements and cardiovascular disease risk or overall death risks. All of these articles, they are all linked in this episode's show notes. Also in the show notes, you will find a link to a website where you can listen to all of the previous episodes of Healthy and Happy Senior Living. If you would like to be in touch, do email me at cartermethod@gmail.com to learn more about my background and listen to an array of stress-relieving podcasts. Visit us at stressreliefradio.com, stressreliefradio.com. If you're not yet following the Healthy and Happy Senior Living Show, well, this is a perfect time to follow where you get your podcasts. When you follow, you will never miss an episode. Until our next visit together, this is your host, Steve Carter, wishing for you and your loved ones blessings in abundance.